Hey friend, welcome back to Align Vitality. I'm your host, Tanya, and we are rounding out our conversation on the foundations of health that are important to consider and support before you start using. If you want to see real optimized results with using a weight loss support like GLP-1 and GIP peptides, things like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, and the like. So if you've been following along, you know that we've already talked about metabolism, gut health, your liver and gallbladder. And I want to circle back to the very foundations of functional health in general. These are the foundational lifestyle considerations that are essential when it comes to any healing journey, including weight management. Your body will more naturally assume and support a healthy weight as a result of implementing foundational functional health strategies. The daily habits that form the foundation of your health. Those are things like nutrition, sleep, sunlight, movement, and stress management. These are the things that quietly determine how well your body heals, how stable your energy is, and how balanced your hormones are. Without them, no supplement or medication can really do its job well. So let's talk about how to build or rebuild your health foundation in a realistic and practical way. Do you want to recharge your energy, renew your mental clarity, and rebalance your hormones? Well, you are in the right place. Welcome to Align Vitality, the podcast that offers faith and functional health strategies for high-achieving, health-conscious professional women in midlife. I'm your host, Tanya, a certified functional health practitioner, leadership coach, and fellow midlife woman who knows what it's like to look strong on the outside while struggling silently on the inside. Here, we get real about anxiety, brain fog, belly fat, burnout, and hormone challenges that women face in perimenopause. And more importantly, we talk about the path to healing. Each week, you'll find practical strategies and faith-fueled encouragement to help you restore your God-given energy, peace, and joy. If you're ready to stop pushing through and start thriving in the abundant life you were created for, let's get after it. This is Align Vitality. Okay, let's talk about the pillars or the foundations of health. I like to think of these as our non-negotiables, not because they have to be perfect, but because they create the conditions that your body needs to thrive. There's nutrition, fuel that supports hormones, metabolism, energy. There's muscle, which is probably the most underrated organ of longevity. There's sleep, of course, which is your nightly hormone and recovery reset, and stress regulation, that switch that determines whether you're burning energy or you're storing it. When these things are aligned, your body naturally begins to heal, to find balance, and to build resilience without any real extremes required. So let's start with nutrition, not from a diet mindset, but from a biology mindset. Food is literally information for your body. Every bite tells your hormones, your metabolism, and your brain something about safety, energy, repair. If you skip meals or you undereat protein or you live on caffeine and quick carbs, your body receives a message of scarcity. So it slows metabolism, it increases stress hormones, and it starts to store fat instead of burning it. So here are a few key principles for fueling properly, especially in midlife. First, you need to prioritize good quality protein, aiming for 30 grams of protein for sure at your breakfast meal, but really per meal to maintain muscle, to balance hormones, and to keep your blood sugar stable. It's important to get the right balance of macronutrients and also micronutrients, but we're not going to talk about that so much at this one. But having the right balance of macros, in other words, carbs, proteins, and fats, keeps your energy stable and prevents the insulin roller coaster. And different people have different needs when it comes to what fuels their bodies. And it's largely based on it is based on how they oxidize or burn fuel. And it's largely dictated by your genetics or your ancestry. And in the functional nutrition space, we like to use something called the metabolic typing assessment to determine what types and ratios of foods are going to best support your body's ability to make and use energy. But you can figure out in general what supports your body best by experimenting with different ratios of healthy carbs to fats to proteins, and then documenting how you respond after eating in terms of your energy level, your mood, your feelings of satiety, things like that, and how long those feelings last before you're hungry again, needing energy, craving sugars, stuff like that. You can kind of start with a fairly even balance and then adjust it according to how your body responds. Another important part of nutrition is to not be afraid of eating healthy fats. Avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds. Omega-3s are essential for hormones, brain health, and bile production. We talked in episode 254 about the liver and the gallbladder and how important healthy fats are to a healthy gallbladder. If you aren't eating enough healthy fats on a regular basis, it can reduce your bile production and reduce how often your gallbladder is emptying. And this it can actually increase your risk of developing gallstones and potentially an inflamed gallbladder or a blockage in the common bile duct. So low-fat diets have a lot of other health risks also. It compromises hormone balance, which actually undermines your efforts for weight loss. It compromises your brain and your cardiovascular health. So you very much need healthy fat in your diet for all of your chemical messengers to be produced and for your body to function properly. Another nutritional consideration is to eat plenty of colorful fiber. Fiber is found in plant sources, and it is essential for reducing inflammation, for balancing out your gut microbiome, for maintaining bowel regularity, for heart health, in lowering bad cholesterol, and in supporting your efforts around weight loss. You should try to eat a colorful mixture of fruits and vegetables because each color provides different unique antioxidants and phytonutrients that support detox pathways and your gut microbiome. Now, I will admit, this is an area where I have a lot of room for improvement in getting a better variety of colorful food and fiber in my diet. Not because I don't like it, but I'm kind of a redundant eater, mostly out of convenience or laziness and habit. I just kind of tend to put the same items on my grocery list and have the same menu that recycles itself just because life is busy and I don't get as creative as I should. Now, do not take me as an example of what is best. I'm just being transparent about the reality. I choose to supplement some just to support things that I don't probably get from my diet, but it is always best to get as much as you can from actual foods because that is just going to be something that your body more naturally uses as it should as compared to supplements. But listen, nourishment is about fueling your body, and it is about communication, not about restriction. It's about communicating to your body that it is safe and it has what it needs to fuel your body and to do its work. The better you fuel, the safer your body feels to burn energy and to repair itself. Now let's talk about muscle, which is really your metabolic engine. Muscle is more than strength. It is your metabolic currency. It helps regulate blood sugar, burns fat at rest, and communicates directly with your hormones. A recent review of the research shows that when muscles are exercised, they actually release hormones called myokines, which help fight inflammation, cancer, diabetes, and osteoporosis. Yet, most women lose about 3 to 5% of muscle per decade after the age of 35 if they aren't intentional about maintaining it. So that loss in muscle can make you more insulin resistant, more fatigued, and more prone to weight gain, even when you're doing your best to eat well. So if you take one thing away from today's episode, let it be this, that building and preserving muscle is your midlife superpower. And some tips to keep in mind or to aim for are to try to do some kind of strength training 2 to 3 times per week, and focus on compound movements that incorporate several muscle groups like squats, lunges, push-ups, rowing. Also, like we've spoken to in the nutrition aspect, eat enough protein to recover and rebuild after and while you are doing your best to strength train and get in adequate movement. Muscle is the reason you can move through life with strength and balance and vitality, and it really is the key to longevity. Now, moving on to sleep. Sleep is where healing really happens. It's when your body repairs tissues, balances hormones, and resets your metabolism for the next day. When we sacrifice sleep for productivity, our stress hormones climb, our hunger hormones misfire, and our cravings actually increase. No amount of willpower can override a tired brain that is craving energy. So, let's talk about one of the simplest, most overlooked ways to improve sleep, and that is actually through natural light exposure. Your sleep quality actually starts in the morning. The human body runs on an internal 24-hour clock, which is your circadian rhythm. That tells your body when to wake up, when to eat, move, and sleep. The primary way that rhythm is set is through light exposure to your eyes. When you step outside in the morning and get 5 to 10 minutes of natural light, even on cloudy days, it signals to your brain, hey, it's daytime, let's produce some cortisol now to get blood sugar regulated, and let's hold off on producing melatonin until later. So this helps regulate your energy during the day, your sleep quality at night, your digestion, your body temperature, and even your hormone balance. On the flip side, spending all day indoors under artificial lighting confuses that natural circadian rhythm. And exposure to bright screens late at night sends mixed signals, telling your brain that it's noon when it's actually bedtime. So here are some good ways to kind of reset your circadian rhythm. First, do what you can to get natural light within 30 to 60 minutes of waking. So step outside, no sunglasses if possible, and let your eyes absorb that natural light. Second, avoid bright screens or get blue light blocking glasses to use during the day, and then actually the orange or red lenses are helpful at night because you want to avoid blue screens at least an hour before bed and use warm, dim lighting instead. Another way to help your sleep is to keep your bedroom cool and dark and quiet. If you start doing some of these simple things consistently, you'll be amazed at how much better you sleep and how much calmer your mood and your metabolism are. So, again, some simple shifts to protect your sleep. So, create a 30-minute bedtime wind downs where you do some gentle stretching, you read, you journal, you pray, you take a warm bath in Epsom salts. Minerals actually support quality sleep. limit your caffeine intake after 2 p.m. And actually, for me, I can't have caffeine after noon, really, without my sleep being affected. Try taking magnesium glycinate or herbal teas like chamomile. Keep a consistent bedtime and wake time, even on the weekends. If you find yourself waking up in the night, it might be a blood sugar issue. It might be wise to track your blood sugar and try incorporating a starch at dinner and then a light snack with protein and healthy fat before bed. This can help regulate your blood sugar, because if your blood sugar tanks at night too low, your cortisol will kick in to try to raise your blood sugar, and that's what awakens you. Now, another really serious and significant reason that you could be having poor sleep quality or being awakened at night is because of sleep apnea. This is when you stop breathing. So some indications are, if you snore, if you either woke yourself up by snoring or your bed partner says that you snore, and if you wake up tired even after supposedly having a good night's sleep. Sleep apnea is a serious health condition, as it literally means you stop breathing in your sleep and you wake up because your body, your brain needs oxygen. If you suspect that you may have sleep apnea, it's very important to see your primary health provider and look into having a sleep study done, because this can lead to an increase other very serious health comorbidities and things that actually increase mortality and decrease lifespan. Now, depending on the level of severity, your provider may prescribe anything from a CPAP machine to an oral positioning appliance to help open your airway. And they may even prescribe weight loss peptide medications that we're going to talk about in a coming episode, that are now FDA approved to assist in the management of obstructive sleep apnea, because obesity is often a significant causal factor in sleep apnea, particularly obstructive sleep apnea. Sleep is literally one of the most underrated acts of self-management, self-leadership. You cannot lead others well or lead a household well if you are running on fumes. And you literally can't heal your body if you are not sleeping. Now, let's move on to kind of one of the final foundations that we want to talk about, and an essential part of healing that is often the trickiest, and that is stress regulation. Stress is inevitable, and there are many, many kinds of stressors on our bodies. But being stuck in the stress mode is optional. When your nervous system is constantly in fight or flight, your body diverts energy away from digestion, hormone production, and repair. You might be doing everything else right and still not feel well because your body never feels safe enough to heal. Now, you can't supplement your way out of stress physiology. You have to retrain your nervous system. And a few simple ways to start doing that, some things to consider are trying to practice something called a physiological sigh. This is a natural breathing pattern consisting of 2 quick inhales followed by a long exhale. And this actually helps calm the sympathetic nervous system and activate the parasympathetic nervous system. A second strategy is to move your body. Step outside between meetings and take a walk. Practice yoga or dancing in the kitchen to your favorite songs. Moving your body is stress relieving. You may want to consider using a weighted blanket to activate your parasympathetic nervous system through deep pressure. Try earthing or getting your bare feet directly in contact with the ground. There's actually a electromagnetic kind of reaction that happens when we connect to the earth. Get outside into nature, get sunlight into your eyes, And here's a thought for those people pleasers and overachievers out there. Try saying no to one extra thing this week that doesn't align with your values or your priorities, or you just don't have capacity for. You have to do things that tell your body that it is safe to rest and repair and digest. So stress management through decreasing toxins, decreasing your presence around toxic people, learning how to respond to stressful situations, removing yourself from stressful situations, learning how to regulate your nervous system. This is essential to any healing journey, and it is actually essential to weight management, because when you are in constant stress response, your body will resist losing weight. It will hold on to weight for survival. Here's your reminder, people. You don't have to overhaul everything overnight. You just have to start somewhere. This week, pick one thing, one area. Maybe it's adding more protein at breakfast. Maybe it's getting some morning sunlight in your eyes, or setting a bedtime reminder, and do it consistently. Healing is not about perfection. It is about partnership with your body, learning to listen, to nourish, and rest in the rhythms that God designed for you. When you focus on the foundations, how you eat, move, rest, and regulate stress, you build a body and a life that can sustain you and your calling. These are the things that make everything else work better. Next week, we're going to bring this series full circle with a conversation about GLP-1, GIP, and other peptides, what the research really says, what I've learned from my own experience, and how to approach these weight management tools wisely once your foundations are in place. And if today's episode encouraged you, resonated with you, or you think it might benefit someone else, share it with a friend who's ready to stop striving and start supporting her health from the inside out. And if you're ready to see what's really happening in your own body through functional testing and personalized coaching, reach out to me at alignvitalityhealth.com/contact, or grab a free discovery call. The link for that is in the show notes. My friend, you were made for vitality, not burnout, and it starts with the foundations. Until next time, lead well, live well, and be well, sister friend. Thank you so much for joining me today, my friend. If today's episode encouraged or blessed you, would you please take a minute to leave a rating and written review on Apple Podcast? It means the world to me, and it helps more women like you discover this message of hope and healing. If you're ready to take the next step in your functional health journey, join my interest list at alignvitalityhealth.com. And remember, this podcast is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to be medical advice, nor is it intended to diagnose or treat disease. Please consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your health. Until next time, I'm Tanya Ingesether, reminding you that healing is possible and your best season is still ahead.